Why? Welcome, fellow artists, to Lyricology 101. I still don't have a tagline yet. Still. This week we'll finally be doing a bar-for-bar breakdown of Lupe Fiasco's Mural from the album Tetsuo and Youth. Why? This has been a crazy journey, guys. Seriously, I remember telling you guys if I hit 20,000 subscribers, I was going to do the Mural breakdown. I honestly didn't expect to hit 20,000 so soon. I hit it 5 months after I told you guys, and it's really just been crazy. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for sharing. It's just been crazy. I even got hit up from some artists, which is pretty cool. So I just love doing this, and I really hope that we can continue to grow. So thank you guys so much. Why? Lupe Fiasco is an absolute master lyricist, like just plain and simple. I have all this. I have like a script. Fuck the script right now. His technique is extraordinary. It's terrifying. This dude's his wordplay, his layering, his concepts, his albums as a whole. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's capable of as a lyricist. I mean, especially when I first heard him. I mean, Food and Liquor was my first experience of Lupe. And it's like he has the ability to write a general song that everyone can enjoy and explore on a general level. But if you do your homework and dive in, you really get these intense layers, and you get to learn more about just how poetry and literacy can work. I'm geeking! There's just so much depth to his work, and he really keeps me on my toes as a writer. Why? Fuck! Food and Liquor just recently hit its 10-year anniversary, and we have 3 new albums coming next year, right? Or at least I think so. I don't know. There's been delays. So either way it goes, I'm just excited for more Lupe. Now, Tetsuo and Youth. Why? One of the best albums of 2015, hands down. And I remember the first time I heard Mural, that shit broke me. And now I'm here, diving into the insanity for your amusement and education. So I've got my Kindle here to help me out. I got a series of books here just to assist with the breakdown. I have a Latin dictionary. I have the Bible, I have the Necronomicon, I have the Royal Arch of Enoch, the script to National Treasure, I've got the Da Vinci Code and just a series of Da Vinci sketches, and the Lovely Bones. But, you know, that's just personal reading. That'll help me out. That's not really going to do anything for the breakdown, but, you know, that's just to help me, you know, take a break from the madness. So if you're new to this process, I'll be breaking this song down from a standpoint focusing primarily on technique, but also looking at some meanings. If you want the entire meaning of the track, I highly suggest you go to Rap Genius. I'll be going over Lupe's flow, rhyme schemes, wordplay, and any literary devices or tricks that we come across. This breakdown is designed to show aspiring artists unique ways to approach their songwriting, as well as just showing others the intricacies of hip-hop songwriting. Ah, shit, I left the... Fuck. Okay, it's gone. So when we get to the parts where we start breaking down the meanings of the lyrics, it's going to be a mixture of the interpretations from Times New Roman, some contributors on Genius, and myself. What's crazy about this song is that there are so many different interpretations of the lyrics, so it's going to be really crazy trying to get these ideas out, and hopefully it resonates with you guys. Because I've taken some liberties. I'm pretty sure some of you guys might not like my interpretations, but it's fine. Let's just have some fun. I'll do my absolute best to be concise with the breakdowns, and also try to cover some things that people may have overlooked or missed. Now, Lupe has expressed that he does not like people just giving away the answers to his riddles, and I just want to say right now, Lupe, my intentions are pure. This is really to help aspiring artists and writers. I just really want to show them kind of the ins and outs and how to get somewhere in regards to writing, so please don't hate me. I'll be breaking this up into 5 parts, so today we're going to be covering 32 bars. First, let's talk about the concept of this track. We all know that a mural is a painting that spans across a large wall or permanent structure. At times, the paintings are elaborate in nature and usually reference moments in history, or even specifically makes references to that area that it's located in. Lupe focuses on strong uses of imagery throughout the entire track. At times, the imagery shifts and blends into other concepts. The length of the song could be in reference to the dynamic nature of murals themselves. The instrumental is practically a loop, which is necessary for this kind of track. Lupe is going full-fledged lyricist, which requires you to focus your attention on the lyrics. If the beat was constantly shifting and changing, the emphasis on the lyrics would be overlooked. Metaphorically, the beat is the wall, unchanging yet open. All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Mural chemicals, vitamins and minerals.
Jesus Christ, that's bars, man. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Mural chemicals, vitamins and minerals, and Vicodin within the tubes wrapped around the arm. The seated vein like a chicken on the bond. Top cat chat, let's begin another yawn.
We're getting the same laid-back delivery that we know Lupe for. We don't get any emphasis on melodic flows or triplets throughout the entire song. Lupe does a lot of morphing in his consonants and his words to form homonyms and rhyme schemes. He's starting off with a flow that highlights slight pauses on the second and fourth beat of each bar. He's basically pacing himself. The first tercet is linked thematically, while the final bar is written as a one-liner that transitions to the next quatrain. We get a 3-syllable internal rhyme that transitions into a 7-syllable pattern. By the end of the second bar, he starts a new rhyme. We see a 5-syllable end rhyme in the last couplet, then we get internals with the at sound. This line alludes to humanity. He's referenced elements that make up the biology of the human body. We are all human. As human beings, we're constantly trying to reach a point of bliss or enlightenment similar to how addicts use drugs. Vicodin is an opiate, which alludes to heroin. We get a homophone on the second bar giving you a dual-layered image of someone shooting up. Junkies tie up their arms with inner tubes, and also the line is pronounced to sound like Vicodin within the tubes, which alludes to the imagery of a syringe. We get another homophone with the sound raw in the first bar, which ties to the heroin imagery. Raw is slang for heroin. Tying up is a process that addicts use to make their veins more visible, forming a parallel with a weather vane, which you'll typically see on top of barns. Historically, weather vanes are a religious ornament. Pope Gregory I claimed that the rooster was the most suitable emblem of Christianity, which eventually led to the rooster being the symbol used for weather vanes. So the vane comparisons link to the reaching bliss and enlightenment theme. An exposed vein alludes to the high of shooting up, and a weather vane alludes to the enlightenment of religion. Please do your research. I'm trying to be concise, so do your research. This line basically means this is a discussion that only bosses will understand, so let's move on to another subject. Top Cat was a cartoon in the 60s. He was the boss of his gang. Cats are usually known to fiddle with yarn. Yarn is slang for a lengthy discussion, which ties into the cat theme. Cat Chat was also an online messaging service. Messaging sites have discussions on what are known as threads. Thread imagery links to the yarn concept. Also, Cat Chat is a kids program through Catholic VBS. The name is short for Catholic Chat. This is another reference to the Enlightenment religion theme. He sets you up to think about kids by referencing the old cartoon. I'll be the one to take the L for this. You can call it a stretch if you want to, but the coincidence has to be noted.
This flying sausage cheese, or is it chicken palm? But roosters don't fly like boosters don't buy. So what powers cowards to get them to the top? Just to fall asleep, listen in the box.
He's still continuing his 2-beat flow. He holds the last word on every second and fourth beat. The first bar is written as a one-liner that relates to the previous bar. The second bar works as a one-liner that's thematically linked into the next couplet that's written in the setup payoff format. So Lupe phrases 5 syllables in a way that matches the previous rhyme scheme in the last quatrain. He keeps the last sound and uses the it sounds for internal rhymes. In the second bar, he uses 4-syllable isolated internal rhymes. We get a 5-syllable end rhyme in the last couplet, some internals with the I sound, the our sounds, and 3 syllables at the beginning of the fourth bar. It seems like a lot of people hopped over this line, so I'll take the risk of sounding crazy. Following the previous bars talking about things that only people at the top will understand, it'll come off as cheesy conspiracy nonsense to you, but it actually might be something good. Flying saucers are common discussion for conspiracy theorists, while chicken parmesan is delicious. If the chicken parmesan line still follows the rooster vein imagery, it could possibly represent religion being consumed with an additional cheesy fluff added for the comfort of the consumer. Same could be applied for the upcoming rooster imagery. He's also concluding the cat imagery with saucer cheese. Cheese is made from milk and cats are served milk on saucers. This line could be saying that music artists don't get far because people don't buy music, they steal it. Roosters can fly, but not very far. They're usually harvested on farms, which could be an allusion to the music industry. Roosters being the artist, the farms being the label, the farmers being the label heads. Boosters are slang for people who steal property for resale. A booster is also an enthusiastic supporter that lifts something or someone up. So if nobody's buying the music, how are these music artists doing so well? I love how Lupe does this. So he basically forms riddles to create images within your mind. Continuing the chicken vein theme, a coward is another word for chicken. The chicken is still symbolic for a music artist in this theme. Get them to the top is another allusion to the vein concept from earlier. Veins are in a position that can be seen by everyone. And if you want to continue the religious theme from the first quatrain, being in the veins position is also equivalent to a symbol of something that's holy and deserves praise. Essentially being popular and being praised by fans. Also, a real rooster wouldn't be able to easily fly to the top of a barn, but a fake rooster, like a vane, is easily lifted and placed in that position by the farmer. So who is helping these unworthy artists get all of this status when they're sleeping on the artists that are the true geniuses? This could also be directed at the artists that claim to make revolutionary music, but lack understanding of true genius and consider it boring. Also, Bach was not recognized as a great composer until the 19th century, over 50 years after his death. So he formed another layer stating that history seems to be repeating itself. We also conclude the chicken theme with a homophone for the sound that chickens make, Bach. So for the artists out there, pay attention to how little he uses pronouns. It keeps the writing vague enough for him to address multiple subjects at the same time.
The ribbon in the sky is the ribbon that I drop. Dribbling the eye across the prism of a clock that lacks meaning, but racks up stacks of fat reading to catch chief and wrapped up plants from trap dealing.
The first couplet focuses on 5-syllable phrasing. He highlights the sounds in a way that seems like he's bouncing on the consonants. He still holds his syllables on the second and fourth beat. The second couplet switches back to the original 2-beat flow, using more words per sentence. The first couplet is written as one-liners, and the second couplet is written as related one-liners. We get a nasty sounding pattern in the first couplet. We get matching 5-syllable end rhymes with matching 5-syllable internal rhymes. The bridging words are internals matching the it sounds and the aw sounds. For the last couplet, he drops a 7-syllable end rhyme that's kicked off by a 3-syllable internal at the beginning of the bars. I love this first couplet. This is Lupe critiquing people like myself. The couplet didn't mean anything, but since it's Lupe, we'll put in all this effort to find a meaning in the lines, leading to a bunch of random theories and perspectives, especially from people who smoke weed. That was cold, Lupe. That was cold. Ugh. A wrapped up plant gives the imagery of a joint. Trap dealings are obviously where they would have bought the weed. This also alludes to art itself, referencing back to the mural concept. Sometimes an artist places something in their piece because they want it to. The observer has the choice to make their own interpretations, but they usually assume that everything was intentionally placed by the creator. I personally don't believe that he was addressing Chief Keef, only because the path that he was writing on didn't directly lead into any kind of reference for Chief Keef. He didn't make any references to Chief Keef's music, any references to Chief Keef's personality. You guys just heard trap dealings and assumed that he was talking about Chief Keef. But then at the same time, I could be wrong as fuck.
Now what's the coffin with a scratch ceiling? And what's the talking without the match feeling? That's berry living and cherry picking every lemon from your berry system, then proceed with the pack feeding.
This is a dope switch of the flow. The whole quatrain has Lupe starting off the rhythm, then catching back up with it by the end of the fourth bar. He starts the first bar after the second beat, which bleeds into the next bar. Then he does it again in the second bar. He starts the third bar shortly after the first beat, then runs the sentence all the way to the last beat of the final bar. Both couplets are written in the setup payoff format. We continue the 3-syllable end rhyme from the previous couplet. We get a 4-syllable end rhyme in the first couplet and a 5-syllable internal rhyme. On the third bar, he starts stunting with 4-syllable internals all the way into the fourth bar, where he returns back to the original end rhyme. Just in case you guys are getting bored. I believe this whole quatrain is about his label situation. He starts with 2 quick riddles in the first couplet, giving you an answer in the third bar that explains both contexts. If someone is scratching the ceiling of a coffin, they're alive and they obviously want to get out. There's buried living within that coffin. If you're talking to someone and they're not willing to communicate with you or see you eye to eye, that's a relationship you don't need. If you're stuck in a partnership like that, you're living a dead life. You're unhappy and you probably want out. More allusions to the mainstream using a fruit theme, the fruits being artists. So they're deliberately choosing sour lemons out of a system or group of berries, which are sweet. Pack feeding refers back to the farm theme from earlier. It's a bit different though, because this time it refers more to the industry feeding the lemons to the listeners. Why did I do this? Seriously, why did I do this?
When I was young, I had visions of another world, sneaking looks at the porn stash of my brother Hurl. Incense smoke made vortices and other curls, casting calls for porn films and ad space for rubber girls.
So Lupe's back to his original flow. The last word on the final bar breaks the bar line into the following quatrain. This entire quatrain is written as a miniature story. Like I usually tell you, there's setup payoff formats and then there's like one-liners. In this case, this was all written as just one tale. Like this is a whole quatrain of a story. We get a 5-syllable end rhyme on the first couplet, and the last couplet carries a 3-syllable rhyme that matches the rest of the quatrain. We get some internals with the a sound, the I sounds, the or sound, and the a sound. Lupe's reflecting on his youth since he's unhappy with his current situation. He doesn't say how old he was, but whatever age he was, seeing his brother's porn was otherworldly. We could even assume that it was like looking into a magic wormhole because he references spiral, tunnel-like imagery. We get a homophone pronouncing the word world as whirl. The whole imagery also represents women. The incense smoke could represent the sensual and pleasurable nature of sex, with other curls representing women being in positions, climaxing, or even their hair. Basically, he's describing what he'd see in these magazines. Rubber girls could be alluding to flexible women, since rubber is flexible, or even rubber could allude to women being fake, plastic surgery, but I don't know, that doesn't link very well, but maybe that could allude to fake women. Once again, just in case you guys were getting bored.
I like my pancakes cut in swirls, Moroccan moles and undercover squirrels. I like cartoons, southern cities with large moons, faith healers, ex-female drug dealers, and art booms.
He starts the first bar late since the previous bar led into it. He does it again for the second bar, then goes into another flow that doesn't anchor his syllables like he did throughout the entire verse. He basically breaks the 2-beat flow for a second. We continue the 3-syllable end rhyme from the previous quatrain. The last couplet starts a 2-syllable rhyme scheme, and we get some internals with the Ehlers sound. I believe that this quatrain is ramping you from his flashback to the present. He starts with childlike imagery in the first couplet, then concludes with mature imagery in the last couplet. Lupe completes his wormhole imagery with the word swirls. This describes the 1960s Hanna-Barbera cartoon Secret Swirl. And then we get a really quick description of Chicago. There are so many illusions. Like, he's not directly saying much, and he's making you work for everything. One thing to note is that faith healers don't have to use their hands to heal. Some only need to speak life into a person for healing to take place. With that in mind, rappers are very capable of doing the same through their music. So, in context, he likes those that create with the intention to help people. Now, if somebody was a drug dealer, they had to hustle and were very likely smart enough to not get caught. Also, quitting that lifestyle takes a very strong will and a certain type of personality. He likes intelligent, street-savvy women. And he likes art. It's easy, he likes art. Hey, I mean, honestly, art is fantastic, so do art, try it, or something. Art.
Apologize for my weird mix. What tastes like hot dogs and tear drips, and looks like pantomime and clear bricks, and smells like shotguns and deer piss.
He starts every bar in the quatrain after the second beat. He gives pauses after every line to give you a quick moment to figure out his riddles. The first bar is written as a one-liner, while the following tercet is written as a setup to a payoff that'll come in the following bars. We get a 2-syllable rhyme scheme throughout the entire quatrain. So I believe he chilled on the rhyming to place more emphasis on the riddles. When you have too many rhymes going on at once, it could potentially break a listener's focus on the lyrics themselves. The weird mix could be referencing the shifts and changes throughout the verse so far. We've gone from speaking on humanity to the industry to porn stashes all the way down to cartoons. But weird mix without a doubt is referencing the following riddles. The pairs of images that he gives are quite strange. Now, this tercet is incredible. He gives you 3 riddles that all have the same answer. Hot dogs and tears both have a salty taste. Visually, mimes are white and salt comes in the form of crystalline blocks. And shotguns can fire rock salt shells, while deer urine is used to mask the smell of hunters. Both smell like salt.
They on a hunt, kinda salty that I'm going hard. First part of a party that I throw in pods. 1 minute you playing pool, next minute you throwing darts. But that's how you do with a party that you throwing bars.
In the first couplet, he formed a huge rhyme scheme, but he didn't perfectly match the phrasing. This is a great way to play with your flow while still utilizing lengthy rhyme schemes. He goes back to the first bar's phrasing in the 4th bar. The first bar was the payoff to the previous setup in the last quatrain. The last tercet is written in the setup payoff format. He sets us up in the 2nd and 3rd bar, then he concludes his idea in the 4th bar. We get an amazing 8-syllable end rhyme in the first couplet. The last couplet carries a 4-syllable end rhyme, but the whole quatrain matches 3 syllables. We get some internals matching the ariat sounds and the oo sound. So Lupe blows our minds by giving us the answer to the riddles in the form of a punchline. He completed the hunting imagery in the previous bar with shotguns and deer references, while also dropping a quick salt homonym for good measure. So we're on the hunt to find the meaning of the lines, and we're salty or mad that he's spitting this crazy. Another layer is that we're frustrated because he's not going easy on us, hence going hard. Now this is another tercet that's it's simply genius. Lupe's referencing the album as a party that's in the form of bars while using imagery of games that you play in a bar. The album is broken into 3 parts, backwards and forwards, and we have 3 uses of the word part in 1 bar. Lupe does not write redundant sentences. This was intentional. So the album is the party, the listeners are the guests, the songs and themes are the games that entertain the guests. The themes are marginally different, which requires a different type of strategy to figure out the bars. Pool, as an idiom, means to group resources for the common advantage of contributors. The idiom throwing darts means to randomly guess. So in context, 1 minute we're working together, next minute we're just guessing on what these bars mean, because they're so complex. Well, I think that's a perfect place to stop. I feel like if I would have went too much longer, you guys would have tuned out. Hopefully you didn't tune out by now, because this was still pretty lengthy. All right, so let's try something. I told you guys that I'll be breaking down this song for the entirety of the month. But there are actually a huge number of big releases coming out this month, so let's vote on it. So if you'd like me to continue this breakdown and just finish it out for the rest of the month, let me know. But if you want me to just take these individual parts, because it's a 5-part series, and just break it up and break the other parts down in the future, let me know. Because my intention with this was to do all 5 parts for every week of this month, or every Friday of this month, and then put them all together into a long ass video that you guys could enjoy. But like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of releases, and maybe I should, there's potential in a lot of different directions. It doesn't matter to me. I'll have fun breaking it down regardless. Now just give me a moment to let my brain rest. I'm going crazy. If you'd like to support the channel, check out our sponsored link at audibletrial.com/lyricology101. That's audibletrial.com/lyricology101. I have a link in the description. If you don't know what Audible is a fantastic source of audiobooks. It's pretty much the new age of reading, since people don't like to read books themselves. Just kidding. Pretty much, if you guys are interested, I suggest audiobooks for a number of things. So usually I play audiobooks while I'm going to bed. I play audiobooks in the car sometimes. I feel like audiobooks are perfect for an environment that you're busy. Like if you, if you ride the bus every day, or if you ride the train every day, it's a perfect place to run an audiobook. I know a lot of you guys like to listen to music instead, but if you guys want to educate yourselves, I highly suggest self-help books. I highly suggest motivational books. Also philosophy. I think philosophy books are a fantastic way for you to develop your writing skills, and also just being able to engage with reality in a way to where you can see things from a different perspective, and it'll increase your abilities to write. Sorry, I'm going off the top of the head. So if you click the link and sign on to Audible, you get a free 30-day trial, and you get a free audiobook of your choosing, whatever you guys want, and you can cancel at any time. So if you guys are interested, you can just click the link, sign in. I believe you have to put some card information in, but they're not going to keep your information, and they'll never charge you for anything without your permission. So you get 30 days. So if you like what you're experiencing, just keep it going. You don't have to, check your account or anything like that. It'll just pay for you. If you don't want to, you can cancel at any time, whenever you want to. So if you're not happy with the service, within the same week, you could cancel if you want to. If you cancel your subscription, you still get your free audiobook, and that's awesome. So you're not losing here. It's absolutely free. What's the worst that can happen? If you guys like the channel, if you really enjoy these breakdowns, I highly suggest that you support the channel through audible.com. There are a number of other ways to support the channel, but this is like the easiest way for you and me. So check it out. Thank you guys so much for your support. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. And if you like what we're doing here at Lyricology 101, please share. If you'd like to get in contact with me, I have more information in the description below. If you guys don't do descriptions, I'll just put it up right here. This was Lyricology 101. I'm Andre Gaynor, and don't forget where the art is. Fade to white! Thank you for watching Lyricology 101. I really appreciate you guys. I mean, 25K. We're at 25,000 subscribers now. Fucking wild. If you guys, it's your first time experiencing Lyricology, check out our advanced rap tips, and our regular rap tips is just rap tips. Basically explaining rap techniques and showing you guys how to improve your rap skills. Sorry, I'm talking really fast because I still don't know the 20-second limit here, so I'm just trying to make sure that you guys see the links. I have some links to the playlist, and I have my Patreon link. Support me on Patreon, and support me on subscribe. I hope I don't cut off, please.